Well, in motorsports, they usually consider your home track the track that's closest to your home. But for the Martin brothers, Alex and Jeremy, well, it literally is their home track. You want to see how close their home is to this track? There's the track. There's the house. Their parents own the facility. See how they do today.
At round 7, Redbud Motocross fans were finally treated to the Martin and Musquin showdown in the 250 class.
And now Musquin side by side with Martin. Oh!
Like he did right there, take the line away, make sure no one can jump it back. He gets a pass made. Sometimes you have to sacrifice a little bit for the overall gain. Just got around his main rival.
Yamaha's Jeremy Martin outdueled his rival on the KTM and retook the points lead with his 4th victory of the season.
Jeremy Martin, 1-1 at Redbud. But what a battle to make it happen.
Martin's win in the 250 class was just the beginning of a historic day for Big Blue. Fellow Yamaha pilot Justin Barcia earned his 2nd consecutive overall win and gave Yamaha their first sweep of both classes in 17 years.
I think time has run out.
Under pressure the entire way, Justin Barcia wins Redbud.
Barcia comes into round 8 with all the momentum, having firmly established himself as a championship contender in his first season riding for Joe Gibbs Racing. The road to the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship continues from round 8 in Millville, Minnesota.
From beautiful Millville, Minnesota, not too far from Rochester, Minnesota, it's round 8 of the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship, sanctioned by AMA Pro Racing, the La Crescent Wine and Spirits Spring Creek National. Hello everyone, Jason Wygant, joined by multi-time motocross and supercross champion Grant Langston. Spring Creek, one of the riders' favorite tracks, and it should be quite a showdown today. We'll show you the stories that we're following. Justin Barcia on fire right now on the Joe Gibbs Racing Yamaha. One in the mud at Budds Creek, Maryland. One in the dry at Redbud in Michigan. Wants to get the hat trick and win 3 in a row today, but to do it, he'll have to beat your series leader Ryan Dungey. This is Dungey's home track. And speaking of home tracks, well, it is literally the home of Alex and Jeremy Martin in the 250 class. Their parents own the facility, and their house is just about 100 feet in front of us from where we stand right now. So we'll see if anyone can break that party up. Barcia would love to beat Dungey in the 450 class, and Marvin Musquin, who's battling Jeremy Martin for the 250 title, would love to beat him here today. Is it possible, or is it just going to be a homecoming party the whole time?
Well, you know, it is a Martin's backyard, so I think they are favored here. But for Marvin Musquin, he lost a lot of points recently dealing with an injured wrist. We've had a weekend off. This is a pivotal race for the championship, I believe. Musquin has to come out and beat Martin in his backyard. Otherwise, this championship might be slipping away.
And don't forget Barcia in that 450 division. He would love nothing more than to ruin it for Dungey today. And also Ken Roxon, last year's champ, going fast as well. Give you the 4-1-1 of motocross. We've already completed a set of motos earlier this afternoon. We'll have 2 more races coming your way here on NBCSN. We'll total up the results to determine your overall winner. We're going to have the 250 class racing first today, so let's show you the highlights of their first race from earlier this afternoon. But Marvin Musquin knew if he's going to beat the Martin brothers today, he needs a good start. He starts in front of Alex Martin, makes a mistake. Alex goes down. Marvin was on the gas, though. From there, he would continue to move forward. RJ Hampshire on the red number 80 is in the lead. Musquin goes from the outside to the inside to pass him. All looked good for the 25.
Yeah, he had a great pace going, then he literally stuffs the bike in the mud. Look at that front wheel, completely packed. And you will see how much this track has changed from earlier today to now.
So RJ Hampshire's back in the lead until Cooper Webb, who was 3rd, and then 2nd when Musquin went down, takes the lead from Hampshire. Webb, who nearly won our last race at Redbud, had revenge on the mind, and he used that to power himself into a big lead. Joey Savacci is 2nd late in the race in the 37, and we finally get Jeremy Martin on the radar. Did not have a good start and also broke the clutch lever off of his bike. Yeah, really impressive ride from Jeremy Martin with no clutch. You see it dangling off there. Tried everything to get Savacci on the last lap. Unable to do it. Great ride for Savacci, but Cooper Webb, little redemption after Redbud, but he takes Moto 1. See how close it was between the top 3. Going to be a real showdown coming up here in Moto number 2. We'll show you the results. We mentioned that Savachi splits the two Yamaluke Star Racing Yamaha teammates, Webb and Martin, with that second place finish. Alex, after the early crash, recovers for 4th. But the bad news is for Musquin, who went off the track a second time and only finished 8th. Now let's introduce Georgia Lindsay with the GoPro starting gate.
Our race 1 winner, Cooper Webb. Now, obviously, Millville is the Martin's track. We know that. You are his teammate. When you went back into the truck between races, what's the conversation like?
Not much convo. Nah, we're just, we're pretty civil. But, yeah, I know he's not happy. I beat him in his backyard. So, it's going to be hard to beat this next one. But I got a good gate and pretty fired up to try to get the first overall win of my season and get things going from here. So, it should be a battle royale.
You've chosen this gate here, which is in the middle of the right. Where do you think you're going to be heading in that first corner?
Number 1, baby.
Number 1, baby, Cooper Webb.
It's good to have Cooper back. We missed him for a few weeks with an ankle injury. Great personality. And by that first moto, you can see a great rider, too. Back at Spring Creek, Millville, Minnesota, almost ready for our second 250 moto, our first of 2 races you'll see here on NBC SN. Here's your Kawasaki track map. Take us for a ride, Grant Langston.
Well, we'll drop that gate. Pretty long start straight into a right-hander. Makes it a little tricky without having that foot on the brake pedal. Hopefully you get that motorsport.com hole shot. Sweep down through here, right, left. First of the jumps, tabletop, then this tunnel jump. Pretty small, but you want to drive down and get through the chicane clean. Carry your speed into these Millville whoops. Once you get to the end, rail that berm, get back on the gas, and get a good rhythm and timing. You see the guys starting to double through there now. At the end of the rollers, make a right, go up this little hill, quick left, long sweeping right-hander over the fly racing, which is now a triple step up, also known as the Catapult, named after Chad Reed's big crash from a few years ago. Make a left at the top, down here to one of the hardest braking zones, turn and then hard on the gas up the hill. You want to double this? That's a little bit different, but there's a way you can triple. We saw it from the 450 riders. See if anyone on 250 can do it. Turn at the top of the hill. Back down the hill. We saw the guys carrying a lot of speed because they worked on the track, so it wasn't gnarly braking bumps, but they will be developing. Then a couple right, left, right switchbacks here. Also, a place to make some passes though. Double, then the Bud Light triple, and as you land on the brakes. Make a left, right, go up the last of these numerous hills here at Millville, drop back down into this right-hander, then you go over the Lucas Oil finish line jump, also known as the Holy Schmidt, named after Donnie Schmidt. Make the left, you sweep back onto the start straight, and that's a lap here at Millville.
Here's what it's like on board. GoPro track preview. This is earlier today. Moto 1, Alex Martin battling with Marvin Musquin through the sand whoops.
This might actually show us what happened in the first
I
lap. I think so, because this is the first lap. So watch Musquin in front here, makes a mistake in this corner, slides out, Jeremy Martin, nowhere to go, just tags him, goes down. Not a bad crash, but just early in the race you lose a ton of time. You see all the riders piling by, but gets up relatively quickly.
KTM keys to the Moto, Grant. Take us through what it takes to win at Spring Creek.
Well, track is drying out. We had torrential downpours overnight, and we've seen as the day goes on, it's really drying out, so the track will be changing a lot. With the rain, the humidity has gone up through the roof, and it is hot and humid. We're now in the second moto, later in the day. These guys better be hydrated and in shape, and of course, home race for the Martins. Can they go out and put both brothers on the podium? I'm sure they can. We saw anything from the first moto. They were 3rd and 4th. Good ride here, and it all starts with a good start. That makes life a lot easier.
So Cooper Webb, who won the first moto earlier today, will try to follow it up with a win here in Moto 2 and break up the hometown party for the Martin brothers. And don't count out Joey Savachi, who was second in the first moto, just beat Jeremy Martin. And Marvin Musquin, who was the series points leader a few weeks ago, really needs to bounce back here. So a truly pivotal moto in this summer-long Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship. We'll see who takes it. And it's Jeremy Martin with the whole shot this time. Nicely done on the number 1, and he has Webb right behind him.
That's not what Cooper Webb wanted to see. was his teammate in front of him, because we know with Martin now getting that clutch fix from the first motor, he showed us great pace without a clutch. Now with the clutch and a hull shot.
And by the way, he was the fastest qualifier today, so he collects the Bud Light Fast Qualifier Award. Jeremy topped both practice sessions, the very muddy session at the beginning of this morning, and the less muddy but still muddy session a little bit later. So he's
what mud? We're talking about dust.
unbelievable.
It's unbelievable how this track has just dried out, but it's also got that type of moisture, that dirt, where it allows the moisture to evaporate a lot easier.
And Joey Savacci second in the first moto earlier today, up to third early in this one. Feet off the pegs for your second place rider, the 17, Webb.
Yeah, he had his foot pulled off the foot peg there. Almost did a knack-knack going through the corner.
No freestyle points going to be scored here in a race. So a true showdown we've been waiting for. Webb against Martin. Where is Marvin Musquin? He's not too far back, about fifth, they say right now. So he needs something to happen so he can get up there and battle with Jeremy for the points, as those are the two battling for the championship. Webb is not a championship contender. He missed 5 races with an ankle injury. But now that he is back, he is certainly a spoiler, running second right now.
Yeah, for Musquin, you hit the nail on the head.
There he is,
has
number 25.
to make some short work of these guys and get up near the front. He desperately needs to finish ahead of Jeremy Martin as far as the championship is concerned. And obviously he would love to have some help from maybe an RJ Hampshire or even Cooper Webb to get between these guys, because Marvin Musquin's lost a lot of ground in the last several motos.
That's Bisceglie on the 38 that he's working on right now, the Geico Honda rider. Bisceglie on the inside. Musquin going to try to run the outside. Going to put him on the inside of the next turn. Does he have it? I think he does. So that will move Musquin to fourth, Savacci third, and the two Yamalube Yamaha Star Racing riders second and first with Martin and Webb. There's Martin, and the fans love seeing this. Already starting to open up a gap.
Yeah, 2 seconds at the end of the first lap, so great pace. Cooper Webb's hanging in there. I mean, it's surprising they've already spread out a fair bit. See Marvin searching for some other line options, going the long way around there and avoiding those bumps. That turn is kind of sketchy because underneath it's got a hard base. You got a good lean angle and easy for the wheels to wash out. There's been a few big crashes there over the several years.
And it's Bisceglie and another Geico Honda rider, Jordan Smith, in formation behind Musquin. And then behind them is Shane McElrath on the Lucas Oil Troy Lee KTM. There's Bisceglie, and his season has really been the story of one good moto, one bad. He seems to have a first lap or first turn crash in one race, and then a good start in another. So here we go with a good start in this second moto. Not what he wanted in the first one. See if he can recover here and learn as much as he can from Musquin. He's right in front of him.
He's also had some bad luck on the opening laps at the mini races where he's had a good start, either been collected with a crash with someone else, or he's just been at the wrong place, wrong time, and made his own mistake. So he was our Dell Tran Battery Tender Hard Charger Award, and that's also because when he goes down, he's passing so many people. He's coming from 40th to 10th almost on a weekly basis now. So if you look on paper, like you say, you go, oh, 10th he rode okay.
Yeah.
But he passed 60 people that day to get that 10th overall.
I feel like this whole Geico Honda team right now, Bisceglie, Hampshire, Jordan Smith, you see in the 126. He'll be on the left side of your screen here in just a moment. There he is. They're all waiting for that breakthrough. Same thing with Shane McElrath here on the Lucas Oil Troy Lee KTM. They've all shown speed here at times, but stringing it together consistently, they haven't been able to do that yet. And a lot of times we see you get one really good moto, and then it all starts to flip, and every moto starts going your direction.
And I know we've talked about this, we might be repeating ourselves, but it's just, there's so much talent and depth in this class that the start is generally what dictates the outcome. Because we've seen a guy gets out of the gate in the top 3 and he finishes, third or fourth. You get out of the gate 15, you come back to 10th,
So the teammates going to go at it here, Bisceglie and Smith. Bisceglie, a relative veteran of the class. He's run 2 full seasons as a professional, but Smith right behind him. You tell him, oh, Smith!
that was what I was talking about just a lap ago.
You're right.
Saying that corner, as it gets more dry out, you attack it harder and harder, but the wheels are bouncing underneath you, and you're at a lean angle, and all of a sudden they start going from underneath you. And, well, I'm also biased because I had a big crash in 2002.
Oh, okay.
I learned the hard way, and I did kind of almost what happened right there.
Smith is a rookie. Same thing, just looking for that breakthrough moto. He's had some great lap times and some good finishes here and there, but any one of these guys could be top 3 at any point. Top 1, though, that's going to be tough because Martin got the whole shot, and this is his track, again, literally, and he's going to be hard to stop here. He has distanced himself from Webb.
Right now, it's also his track, figuratively, because he owns his track at the moment.
All right, so the family's name is on the deed, and he seems to have property ownership rights in this moto. However,
What's his hill called?
Martin Mountain, yeah, Mount Martin, whatever you want to say. I will say one thing, though, that would interfere with the contractual negotiations as to who actually owns this place. It's very early to start talking about the overall, but combining both motos, it would be Cooper Webb's victory today.
That's coming back to in the first moto when I was saying how important that pass could have been on Joey Savacci, and it wasn't from a lack of trying. I was really, really impressed at what Martin was able to do without a clutch, but the reason I say I'm so impressed is you have to change your riding style and technique. He even told us some of the things he did, and you can say, oh, you know, every now and then you got to adjust, but easier said than done.
That's
at
a
this
big
level.
adjustment.
That's a big adjustment, and but you know, if you didn't see the clutch flopping around, like if it just wasn't there, we would never really know.
That's right.
Because he looked really good, like just Martin charging through, but now with the bike, 100% a good start. This guy can't be too happy about that either, because Marvin needs points, and it's just been a bit of a slippery slope lately. The only good thing I can think of for Marvin looking forward is the next 2 rounds, you could argue, are more Muskie type tracks. We said Redbud was probably going to favor Jeremy Martin. It did. We said this would favor Jeremy Martin. So far it has.
Yeah, but if you're Muscan, he knows the goal has to be at least minimize the damage on those days.
Yeah,
for Martin.
First moto for him is not cutting it.
No, so he's 4th right now. Needs to at least work on Savacci, catching Webb and Martin, who are going very, very quick right now. Not going to be easy, but Savacci, got to give him some credit. 2nd in the first moto, that's good. 3rd in the second moto, that's good as well. So starting to build that consistency.
Yep, that'll be a podium overall.
Looks like McElrath, meanwhile, has split the Honda riders. It's Bisceglia, McElrath. They've both got around Smith, who remember had that near miss with a near crash. Aldridge on the Kawasaki comes through next. They've actually all gone by Smith. It's Aaron Plessinger, Mitch Oldenburg 10th. McElrath on the 40, looking to get Bisceglia. And these guys battled throughout their amateur career as well. And it's funny how that works. They were very similar on speed then, similar on speed now as professionals, and duking it out for 5th.
Also nice to see Chris Aldridge back solidly in the top 10. He came out, started the season off strong, and then haven't seen too much of him in the races, you know, maybe not getting great starts, and, you know, said it before.
Yeah, it makes all the difference.
It's, with the pace of all these guys being so similar, it's really hard for some of these guys to come through. Look at McElrath.
Whoa! That was just pure guts down there. Just decided to leave the brakes off. Well done. And by the way, Aaron Smith has actually already gone through. We did not see him, but Smith is 5th, so he recovered from that near crash. He's ahead of this battle. McElrath is just outside trying to get him.
Welcome back to Spring Creek, Millville, Minnesota. Now, I am lucky enough to be standing next to the parents of this place and, of course, Jeremy Martin, who is leading right now. John Martin, congratulations on such an awesome track here at Millville. Most of the riders say that this is their favorite track. I mean, how proud are you, first off, of just your track?
Well, we try to build a really good track for all the people so that they can have a lot of good bumps and a lot of good passing lines in the corners, and that's what motocross really is, what it's supposed to be all about.
And now you have 2 sons, Alex and Jeremy. Jeremy leading, Alex really, you know, battling for these wins now. How proud are you of your sons?
Well, they're doing okay.
Okay, well, I've got Mama here, Greta. I mean, seeing your sons out there, and especially right now, watching Jeremy lead, How nervous and excited are you?
Oh, I'm very excited for him. He lost his clutch in the first moto, so I think he wants to go out there and redeem himself.
Well, thank you so much for this awesome facility, and best of luck to the boys.
I love how Alex and Jeremy are always on each other, and apparently now we see where they get it from. Dad, you're okay.
They're doing all right.
Doing all right. He's the champion of the class, points leader, winning the moto. That's all right. Now, John, by the way, no slouch on a motorcycle either, as an AMA National Hare Scramble champion back in his day, racing in the woods. So, a motocross and dirt bike family through and through, owning and operating a track. Dad was a pro rider. Now both of his sons are. There is actually a third Martin child. Jeremy, I believe, is a twin sister. So, I think she's in college right now. A little busy for the motocross thing. But a really cool story, and this family well respected, not only, of course, for the great work they've done as both racers and track owners, but they're good people as well. Jeremy, I know you were talking about the way kind of you went about racing. You might have been a nice guy off the track, but we put that helmet on this guy. Yeah, all the niceness goes out the window. He just wants to win.
Well, you've heard that saying, nice guys finish last.
Okay.
In motocross, these guys are professionals, and you've got to ride with a bit of a chip on your shoulder. You've got to come out there and dislike your opposition. You can respect them, but you want to dislike them, because that you use that as motivation. And he hasn't officially said it, but we know that him and his teammate right here, Cooper Webb, no love lost there.
Yep.
And Webb wants to, beat his teammate Martin badly, especially on a day like today, and vice versa. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just what motivates these guys, and that's why they're at the top of their sport.
And they both could be winners today. Jeremy Martin is winning this moto, but here are the event points when we combine the first and second motos. Look, Webb is going to win the overall. He will have a first and a second, whereas Martin will have a first and a third. Martin ended up third in the first moto earlier today. Speaking of third, Marvin Musquin has taken third away from Joey Savacci. So if Musquin were able to catch Webb, that would then hand the overall win back to Jeremy Martin, because then Martin and Webb would both have a first and a third, and in that case, the tie goes to the better second moto. So Musquin taking the hand off the bars, man. We know that he's had some problems with the wrist after an injury earlier this year. I don't know if that's a sign of that or not, but either way, Musquin, who wants every point he can get, he is going to dig deep to try to get Webb, and that could tip the balance of the overall for the weekend as well.
He just has to keep charging, put his head down. You never know what happens in racing. Jeremy Martin, it's probably unlikely, but he could fall or have a mechanical. So you never know. You got to fight till the very end.
And the end will come in 15 minutes. So I can remind you, in 15 minutes, you can save 15% or more on your insurance with Geico. As you're watching another Minnesota native, that's Zach Williams trying to get inside the top 20 and score some championship points. It's unbelievable how many fast Minnesota riders we have. Not just Ryan Dungey and the Martin brothers, who we talk about all the time, but Williams, Wentland, Gannon Audette, and even Mitch Oldenburg, who lives in Texas now. Oldenburg 15th at the moment, lives in Texas, but grew up here in Minnesota. So it is a watershed time for the Minnesota folks. Of course, led by this rider with the national championship in the 250 class. Although a shout out to the original Minnesota superstar, Donnie Schmidt, who won this national a couple of times and went on to win some world championships, race at the Grand Prix in Europe. The late, great Donnie Schmidt. But right now, Cooper Webb needs to hold on to second to win the overall at Millville, or Martin's going to take it. Well, the fans here at Millville are hoping to see the Martin brothers in a battle. Alex Martin is in one right now, but not what they were hoping. He is trying to get 16th place away from the 55 of Kyle Peters. Peters on the Motorsport GPI Honda. So something clearly went wrong for Alex early in this moto. He was 4th in the first race earlier today, 17th right now on the Rock River Yamaha, backed by CycleTrader.com. So it's in a point salvaging mode right now instead of where he wanted to be, which is battling for the win or at least the podium.
Actually, it looked like he slowed down just a little bit there. I wonder if he's dealing with any sort of issue, because he just lost about 10 bike lengths for no real apparent reason. But anyway, looks like he's going back at it. But you can tell he's got a little more speed than someone like Kyle Peters. But Alex Martin, I think, just needs to get a little more forceful with his passes. He's been a little too nice about it, and that's the problem. If you don't sometimes force the issue, you will kind of just get stuck in that pace.
He had Baker, a rookie, right behind him when he slowed up in the corner, but now we do not see Baker in the back of those shots. So Baker must have had a bigger mistake than Alex did. So Alex is now free to go after Peters without any pressure from behind. Jump down this hill and then get ready for Mount Martin, which is the biggest climb on this track. This is an absolutely massive hill climb. Alex is going to try to use the outside to get Peters. Here we go. They scrub together.
It's all about getting over that clean, and Martin did a slightly better job. Takes the line away from Peters. Oh, a little cross rider there, but saved that really quickly.
So all that work puts Alex into 16th place, not where he wanted to be.
No, I'm sure this is going to be a bit of a disappointing day for him. You know, he wanted to do so well, and I always feel a little bit bad for Alex. You know, his younger brother gets so much of the attention, and, you know, rightfully deserved, but...
Musquin. And that's Sabaji right behind him. Let's check in with their former series leader. Had the lead up until our last race at Redbud. Then had some wrist problems that day, lost 17 points to Jeremy Martin on that day. And now he's struggling. Sabaji has caught back up. We were wondering if Musquin could make a run at Webb. Hasn't been able to close in. It's still about 6 seconds, which is where it was. And Sabaji, credit to him today. He doesn't care who you are or what title you're fighting for. This number 37, he's just going to take every position he can get. He is fighting Musquin for it.
Yeah, he had a great first moto, fighting with Jeremy Martin until the bitter end. Held him off. Good, great ride. I think second place, is that his best moto result?
Yeah, he's had a couple moto podiums.
A couple thirds.
Yep.
I don't recall a second, so his best moto finish, and then basically, if he can stay where he's at, he'll be on the podium overall again. So nice to see some consistency coming out of some of these young riders. And not to mention someone like Mitch Payton, who's used to winning, if we could call it that. He's had a bit of a rough time with just riders getting hurt, injured, you know, all kinds of various things. And Sabaji, at the moment, really just kind of asserted himself as the team leader.
Yeah, quietly up to fourth in the points is Sabaji and that Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. And hey, a great ride here for Jordan Smith, the rookie. Almost crashed in one section, but has been pretty solid beyond that moment. Running inside the top 5 now on the Geico Honda. And again, that team, these guys, they're all so close. Definitely talented, definitely fast. Smith, Hampshire,
but
Bishalia.
Sorry, Jason.
Yep, go ahead.
Have a look at the lap times. Smith was actually the second fastest rider on the track that last time around. He caught Sabaji and Musquin and Webb on that last lap. So great pace from this kid late in the moto. McElrath sitting there in 6th. So even for him, 2 solid motos today. Nothing flashy, didn't get the whole shot. He's kind of come from a little bit further back, but moving forward. Be curious to see where that might leave him in the overall. I think well, at the moment there's like almost a 3-way tie just outside the top 5.
Yeah,
so,
6, 7, and 8.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if he gets one more point, I think that could even catapult him to get Plessinger, who, talk about quietly creeping up in the standings there. Plessinger would finish 5th overall today with 2 solid top 10s as well.
Yeah, Plessinger is 8th, right behind Aldridge, who you're watching here in the green Kawasaki. Aldridge is 7th in a 66th. Started the year off so spectacularly with a 3rd overall on the podium at our opener at Hangtown. It's been a decent season, but not quite that good beyond it. Where is Plessinger? There he is in the red gear on the blue Yamaha, 157, but he's got to deal with Osborne. Osborne, the Rockstar Husky, did not get the starts today. He did really strong our last 3 races, was a podium guy, top 3, but today has had to do it from the back, and that makes a huge difference.
That was a great pass there from Zach Osborne. Just basically change it up a little bit. I think a lot of the guys are going to the outside after those rollers and railing that berm. But as that berm's got chewed out and the inside's dried up, Zach Osborne made that inside look really easy, which makes me think. I'm sure that some of the riders wish they had a mechanic or someone standing there to at least just point them and go, okay, inside, great passing spot. It's quicker now, do it.
Yeah, no communication with riders really at all. No radio communication is allowed, and they do have pit boards, but they go past those pretty quick, so you can't put that elaborate of a message out there.
Yeah, if you see a mechanic trying to write an essay on the pit board, he's wasting his time.
The handwriting with the dry erase marker is never that great either. A little bit further back, you've got Bisceglia. That would be 10th. And behind him is Jesse Nelson in 11th. Nelson, so strong early in the season, a rough go of it at our opener at Hangtown, and then was on the podium next 2 races. It really looked like potentially was in position to maybe battle for some wins here, but the last 3 rounds have not gone so well for him. And 11th right now. I mean, that's good, but he had set some top 3 standards going back about a month ago. Lucas Oil, Troy Lee, KTM. And you've said it over and over, Grant, this 250 class, the riders are so similar on speed and talent. It didn't take much to turn what were 3rd place finishes into top 10s right now.
Yeah. And that's exactly it. It's really competitive, a lot of talent, a lot of guys going for it. And, you know, we can talk about not a great day for Jesse Nelson, and then next week, you know, a good start, and all of a sudden things turn around.
As the battling continues here at Spring Creek, we'll have more motocross next weekend, 6 Eastern, where motocross continues on NBCSN with the Washougal National outside of Portland, Oregon. So join us next Saturday. An AMA motocross and supercross champ now working with Cole Seeley as a riding coach. You'd throw him into pretty much any racing scenario, be it 4 wheels or 2. And Jeff Ward, who I believe is 54 years old, is still fast.
And not to mention, he was fastest in qualifying Daytona and would have been on the podium, but they docked him for a position or something similar. Anyway, great to see Ward. He's still out there.
Yep.
Let's have a look as time has now run out. We're on 2 laps to go. Motorsport.com whole shot replay. And you see, just sweeping in, get a better angle of the turn. The number 1, Jeremy Martin, sweeps through. It's the clear whole shot, no doubt about it.
So no doubt that Martin had the whole shot. No doubt that he's the leader in this one, 24-second lead. But what is a doubt is the weekend's overall winner when we total up this moto and the first moto. That's the motocross tradition. You got to do it twice in the same day. Really puts the premium on consistency. Martin was 3rd in our first race. The clutch lever broke on his bike, so he couldn't use the clutch. 3rd is impressive considering that, but a 3rd and a 1st, probably not going to get it done because his teammate Cooper Webb is looking at having a 1st and a 2nd. But Webb has to hold on. Here is Webb on the 17. He has to hold on. Marvin Musquin in 3rd, trying to catch him. What was a 6-second gap is down to 4. You see Musquin in the corner behind him. If Musquin makes the pass on Webb, that will then make Jeremy Martin the overall winner. So kind of mixed emotions for Jeremy. He doesn't want Musquin to gain positions and points. I thought he'd like to win the overall.
I was going to say, I think if he had the option right now, I think he would have Musquin pass Webb so he could win the overall in front of all his friends and family.
Okay.
I think he's confident enough that he'd rather sacrifice the 2 points because he knows deep down he's got the confidence. He's figuring right now this is the beginning of the end for Musquin, in his opinion.
Yeah, and he's got to just kind of stomp on him. I know what you're saying when you have the opportunity. And as we watch Webb continue to circulate here in 2nd, a lot of credit to Martin last week. Had our pump in our first moto at Redbud, and a lot of riders are not able to bounce back from that.
Yeah,
and he did. He bounced all the way back and won it. He would drop back to 4th. It just shows you how mentally tough Jeremy Martin is.
I think sometimes we might sound a little bit mean. We're like, yeah, stomp on Musquin.
yeah. Sorry about that.
And we mean that in racing terms.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. Jeremy's thrown out there that he thought this would be basically a war this summer. So that's how seriously these guys take it. But Cooper Webb is potentially going to beat both Musquin and Jeremy Martin in the overall today if he holds on for 2nd. Marvin's looking over. I don't know if he has to worry about Savacci in 4th. He's opened it up about 5 seconds on him. But it is all systems go forward to try to catch Webb. Championship points for him. Musquin's still in the title hunt, so he needs them.
Yeah, just Marvin was closing the gap, you know, ever so slightly, and I don't know. I don't know if his wrist hurt. Like you said, Jason, we've seen him take it off the handlebar a few times during this race. So, and this track, if you do have a wrist injury, trust me, this track is not a fun track with a wrist injury. You got a lot of hard landings, rollers. You know, you're moving around the bike, and it's pretty rough out there.
Battle still on the track here. Savachi and Jordan Smith for 4th and 5th. Pretty close between all these riders. McElrath in 6th. Back to Martin, who should win the Moto, but probably not the overall, but at least he would extend that points lead, and that's why he has the red plate on the Yamaloop Star Racing Yamaha. And he has really found a great combination with his trainer, Johnny O'Mara, who won this championship about 20 years ago, and is just an animal on a bicycle. So Jeremy trains with his brother Alex, but the tutelage comes from the Osho. And it's funny, O'Mara worked with Justin Barcia in the 450 class in the beginning of the year. Those two did not click, so O'Mara moved to Martin. Martin is winning races, and Barcia without O'Mara is winning races as of late. So it really shows that different combinations work for different riders.
And that is the truth. You know, we saw even with Ken Roxon, you know, leaving Alden Baker, and he just said they didn't really gel. It doesn't mean that, you know, one's not a good trainer or one's, you know, not committed or whatever. It's just these are personalities. When you're dealing with people, it's almost like a marriage, and you got to treat it that way. It's a professional marriage, so you have to be able to gel on a personal level as well, and believe in everything that you're doing. And all these guys are different. You know, different guys some guys want to cycle, some want to run, some want to swim, some do a lot of riding, some don't. But this guy did everything right in this moto.
Looking for his 7th Moto win of the year, Jeremy Martin takes the 2nd Moto here at Millville.
And in dominating fashion as well.
But Cooper Webb gonna avenge Redbud in our last race. He had the first Moto seemingly won until he got past in the last lap. Then he had the 2nd Moto seemingly won until he crashed late in the Moto. This time he bounces back, wins the first Moto, and a 2nd in Moto 2 is going to be enough to win the overall. Welcome back to Victory Lane, Cooper Webb. And an impressive return, only his 3rd race back from a pretty serious ankle injury with a pair of torn ligaments. I don't know how he was able to heal up as quickly as he did. We had him at the middle of May at our opener, re-aggravated the ankle injury, took some time off, and now he is here 2 months later, a winner again. So good job by Cooper on the 17. Going to be a championship spoiler, no doubt. He just got between our 2 title contenders once again.
Yep. So he actually did do his teammate a favor there, Jeremy.
Saying thank you.
Gentlemen, congratulating Cooper as well, you know. Love to see that as well, good sportsmanship.
And this is the cool down tent. These guys got to be pretty hot today, and it really doesn't matter what the weather is. Motocross is about as physically demanding as any sport in the world, so you're going to be tired no matter what the temperature is, and we'll send it to Georgia.
Yes, I'm going to let Cooper Webb have a drink and cool off for a minute. You said you wanted to get to that corner first. That didn't happen, but you did take your first overall win. Congratulations, well done.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was my best start of the year. I ripped it from that thing. For me, it was basically a whole shot. So starting second's nice. It makes your job easier, but J Mart was on a mission that 2nd Moto. He wanted to let me know I wasn't going to be faster both motos, and kind of knew that. You know, it's his track. He's been riding here. So I knew he was going to be really extremely hard to beat, but 1-2 gets it done, and I'm just stoked. You know, most importantly, the Lord Jesus Christ, my mom and dad, my mechanic Eric Gass, my trainer Garrett Swanepoel, the whole Star Racing Yamaloop Yamaha team, Rockstar, Toyota Escondido, Cannondale, Answer Bell, 100%, FMF, Mickey Thompson's, Garnet, KYB, Diggin 38, my practice mechanic Trevor, and just all my buddies and stuff back home. Just, man, it feels good to get that off the bat.
Congratulations, the overall win with Cooper Webb.
All right, so this is going to be interesting for the rest of the year. You're going to have Muscan and Martin battling for the title, and Webb a definite factor to win races and steal points away. Well done for the number 17. Back at Spring Creek in Millville, Minnesota, let's give you the Lucas Oil race recap and show you the 2nd and final 250 Moto of the day. Our 450 race coming up in just a few minutes. Jeremy Martin, the home track specialist, grabs the whole shot. His teammate Cooper Webb is right behind him. Webb won the first Moto earlier today, but he had nothing for Martin, nor did anyone else in this 2nd Moto. Champ was on a rail.
Yeah, he was on a mission, but Cooper Webb, with this 2nd place finish, he gets enough to get his first overall of the season. and only his third race back from injury. But he did have some pressure at times, but this guy had no pressure. He was on a mission, went out, stomped the field, and just proved that if he didn't have that clutch issue, Lacey was saying, I could have gone 1-1 today.
Yeah, you got to wonder what if. Here's your results of that second moto. Jordan Smith ties his career high with a 5th. He was right behind Savachi, who had a pair of solid races today. Let's send it to Georgia.
Yes, Jeremy Martin, that overall win on the last race. Unfortunately, didn't take the overall for the weekend. However, you really showed your speed in that race. If you didn't have that clutch problem, maybe things would have been different.
Yeah, you know, I mean, Cooper rode a great race. He rode smart in the first moto, and he got around me sooner, and I struggled to get going. I had a little issue, but, you know, no excuses. I tried the best I could do to work my way forward, and I tried to put a last lap pass on Joey in Moto 1 to hopefully put myself in the position for an overall, because I knew Cooper was on it today, and for him not to get second, it was going to be pretty tough, because he rides pretty good here in my backyard.
Well, congratulations. Well done. The first place in that second moto. Well done.
And here are the overall results. You see that Webb edges Martin on total points for the day by 2. Savaji up on the podium. I believe that's the second time this year for him. And the big difference, Muscan, you see, scores 15 fewer points today than Webb and 12 less than Martin. Let's send it back to Georgia.
Joey Savachi, 3rd place overall. Congratulations. Now, you tried keeping a secret from me by saying that you had changed something up in the last couple of weeks. You got on the podium overall, so I think you need to kind of give us an insight to what has changed.
Nah. Just, whoa, they're loud. It's crazy here. It's just me figuring some things out, and we've really been working hard just to try to get here. And my Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki got me off to another great start. Mitch, Bones, Adam, everybody, they're working really hard. Ricky and Jeannie Carmichael down at the farm, we've been putting in a lot of work. My trainer, Clint, my parents especially, you know, they've been behind me through day one, through the bad and good. And like I said, lately we just figured things out. So it really feels good to be back up here and to prove to all the guys that are behind me that we can still do it. Just I can't thank everyone at Thor. Bell Helmet, Scott Goggles, Specialized, KMC Wheels, Alpine Star, just everybody. I can't thank those guys enough to do a lot for me.
Well, congratulations. Seems like things just clicked for Joey. Well done.
I believe it's actually 13 points that Martin made up on Marvin today. So you look at the standings, it's now a 19-point gap, something along those lines. Bottom line is this, the 19 is the way it is, regardless of how it went today. So Marvin needs to bounce back. But the next track at Washougal, not a bad one for him. Send it back to Georgia to see how it went.
Marvin Muscan, congratulations. It's been tough for you the past few weeks. You've had the injuries, but you fought in this race. You really fought. You had some problems. Came down a couple of times, but obviously this is a technical track, and the weather's pretty hot, but how did you feel?
Well, first of all, I took a full week off the bike, and I thought it was going to be better. I felt really good, but as soon as I was riding, you know, my wrist was a little bit hurting. But anyway, I was really looking forward to that weekend, this weekend, because that track is really, really nice. They got some nice rides, and the crowd is awesome. So we got a lot of rain. It was really soft. And I surprised myself in that first moto. I was leading. Track was awesome, but I went into that berm, and I tagged the front so bad, and I went over the bars, and I was like, oh, wow. I didn't expect it, you know, and I spent a lot of energy, you know, to get my bike out of that mud, and my heart rate went up, you know, and then I was tired, and I tried my best, and I was not feeling the best, obviously, and then it went down again. So it was a really tough moto. I mean, I was tired after the first one, so I knew it was going to be a tough second one. Actually ended up third, not too far from Cooper Webb, so it's not too bad. Hope we get better. I want to thank the Red Bull KTM team and all the people that support me. You know, they stick behind me. They give 100% all the time. You know, even if I'm injured or anything. So thanks to everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Congratulations. Thank you, Marvin.
The top riders in the sport know they can't do it alone. Coming up after the break in our motosport.com rider profile, the riders talk about the men who tune the bikes and supply them with never-ending support, the mechanics.